how, you know, Lemonnation are playing Karma Ezreal into a Zyra Varus, and yeah, they didn't like smash the lane or anything, but they were playing it very intelligently even right off the bat. It's like, what am I stronger at than that champion, right? How do I get my edge? And I think that's a really cool way to look at the game and to play the game. And it could definitely get you some advantages.
Certainly could, as Kha'Zix banned for FlyQuest, Camille, Rengar, and LeBlanc banned for Phoenix1. I'll give them a quick question mark, because they're not FlyQuest. Cassiopeia, though, banned for Fly as their final one, so 2 mid lane bans and a strong jungler all taken away.
Certainly are. The Kha'Zix taken away from FlyQuest says, hey, I want to first pick Varus. So, you know, there is the option. If P1 does not want to give up the Varus, they could technically ban Varus and give up like a first pick LeBlanc or something like that. They are thinking it through. Almost every team does the LeBlanc ban, and there it is. So they're not FlyQuest, like you said.
No, I mean, Hai had a very good look in the LeBlanc game. He didn't take over the game like he could have, as jayce first pick's interesting here for Fly. Not a pick we expect from Balls. Definitely a good takeaway from Zig. We've seen 2 members of Phoenix1 play it, and I believe 0 from FlyQuest.
I think they Hai played it.
Oh, you're right.
Hai did play it. So this is kind of more of a Hai pick. I'm sure that Balls could play it as well. I just am not a fan of the champion, though. I've seen it lose so many times in LCS. I believe we're at 3-10. We were 2-9 before yesterday for a jayce win rate in North America. Teams, the funny thing is, has incredible CSD like numbers, has all these gold advantages, but it just loses. People struggle to actually close out games on jayce. Because you're not that straight-up hard-engaged champion. You're kind of a poke champion, but you're not as good of a poke champion as Varus. So you're kind of in this like middle realm where you have to be on the side and shoot around minions and stuff. It's very tough. You can certainly get lane advantages. You can certainly win games. But in North America, jayce has been just abysmal. Well,
not looking good there. Shen Varus were the first picks for Phoenix1. Varus is the easy pick for Phoenix1. Probably surprised to get it, honestly, after FlyQuest's first pick. I think Shen's the tank they most wanted Zig to not have in the last game, but they respond with Maokai and Jhin.
And I think a big thing is that Balls has looked best on Shen, in my opinion. He's looked really good when he can participate with the team and move around the map very well in coordination with his team, thanks to that Stand United. So you take that for Zig, it means that Balls cannot have it. And it's kind of a little bit of takeaway here. You know, maybe if they're not playing against P1, FlyQuest doesn't pick jayce first. And maybe if P1 is not playing against Balls, they don't actually take the Shen there. So, you know, there are some nods to the strengths of opponents here, back and forth.
Well, Corki the pick for Ryu, which seems fine. Another poke mid laner, so pretty standard stuff. Graves banned for Phoenix1, though, means that jungle is starting to get taken out. In fact, neither team has picked the jungler. It looks like mirrored picks on both sides. And a Nami ban for FlyQuest is a fun one. Adrian has a number of wins and a surprising number of games on the champion.
Yeah, I think he's like 6-0 or 7-0 or something ridiculous on the Nami. So it's a good takeaway from him. He's just been doing the best on that of any of his supports. So pretty intelligent stuff there. Corki Varus, very standard. You may be saying, oh, well, they picked their Corki before, you know, Hai has his mid laner. Well, this is going to be a jayce, right? So you have to remember that. But also, there's not really any bad Corki matchups. Like, even if you haven't seen the opposing team's mid laner, there's nothing that's really a horrible matchup for Corki.
Yeah, and like you said, with the picks FlyQuest made, it's very much mid lane jayce.
Yeah.
MF banned there for Phoenix1. Actually banned as a support this time around, which is kind of interesting. So it might be indicating Zyra and Malzahar could be where they're looking. Ivan banned for FlyQuest if they take that. And yeah, Adrian probably going to go back to this one. Had a good game on it.
Certainly did. I think that the Zyra can be very, very strong, especially when some of the solid picks against it are already taken out. Yeah, Malzahar is available and things like that, but I think Zyra has a good matchup into it. That said, at pro level, people play so passive that you can kind of wait till 6 and just, you know, flash ult, etc., and then you can get kills that way. But there's a lot of options. Lulu support has been rising in popularity. We've seen things like that. Malzahar can be played. You know, there's still Karma on the table. Lots of options for Lemonnation, and Moon going to make the return to Nidalee.
Nidalee's been a bit hit or miss, I feel like, but I think Moon certainly had at least one of the good games on it. Haven't seen too many players pick it up, but a few of the junglers are playing it as the kind of obvious last pick. Malz is there for Lemon.
Acadian played it a couple times. I did not see him win on it. I know Moon had at least the one Nidalee game. He was like 4-0, played quite well on it. Actually was pretty dominant, picked up player of the game there too, I believe. And it's actually going to be an Elise here. Nice.
Yeah, Elise is a champion we haven't seen too much of, at least this split so far.
I don't even know if we've seen it ever in the NALCS this split.
I know, I talked to Renova yesterday. He was considering playing it in the game yesterday instead of Rek'Sai, but they decided to go for Rek'Sai instead. So certainly a champion that's on the radar of some of these top tier junglers, and kind of nice to see with so many junglers taken away, a very different jungle 1v1.
Yeah, definitely. Elise is very strong. It's really popular in other regions, so even if this is the first pick in North America of it, it's not something that is going to be completely mind-blowing. We know it's strong. It's played in Europe. It's played in LCK. Always has been a champion that's very, very popular in Korea especially. And I'm excited to see FlyQuest with kind of their style of game, you know, playing the Nidalee, playing the Jayce, how they're going to be able to execute on this. That said, some of the kind of woes of the top lane Jayce do not really apply here as much because they have a strong tank in the top lane and they have that strong engage. So that is kind of shoring up some of the weaknesses and problems that you can see with Jayce comps. You also have Flash Malzahar ults, you have Jhin for engage. So this is not a team that struggles with engage.
No, but could be interesting to see how the rest of the things work out. I mean, Zig on the Shen could be causing problems in the sidelines. FlyQuest did a good job kind of macroing around FlyQuest in a lot of the late half of game number 1. But I think we looked at jungle mid last game. We have to look at it here again. 2 more different junglers, at least I believe for the first time, with Nidalee there for Moon once again. And the fact that Hai first picked Jayce for himself.
Yeah.
With Corki available, which is the champion that he was known for in the early weeks and gave it over to Ryu, is very telling that Hai feels very comfortable on these champions. So FlyQuest, they're showing a lot here in how the priority is on their blue side, and we'll see if Hai can get real work done with the Jayce pick.
Yeah, he's really confident, seems to be confident on pretty much everything, and also taking it away from Zig is that bonus. And Elise has actually been played a number of times so far in the LCS, in NALCS, so
we've been picked.
Yeah, I've been duped. But anyway, Inori is actually his 3rd game so far this season on it, so he has played it a couple times. That can happen. There's lots of games.
That's just some strange coincidence, because I don't remember seeing it, which doesn't mean that I haven't seen it, but that means that we may have just randomly avoided all the games with Elise in it. So feels bad, but thank you to Production for correcting us. Always nice. That's why we have people on the stats, Azael.
Exactly.
Making sure we don't mess up too much. We'll mess up a little. It's kind of inevitable. Hai and Ryu auto attack battle. Corki gets the better end of that very early trade. I'm not sure too much to worry about right now, as Altec has a bit more to worry about, getting poked off by Zyra Varus. He should be familiar with this after last game.
That's actually kind of a deal, because Altec doesn't have time to actually base. So he has to hang around, and he's starting lane at half HP. So if you want to look at it like that, he's essentially starting down a pot or a pot and a half, which is pretty brutal.
That's aggressive. There's actually a snare looking for it. Doesn't land it, though. Voidling still chasing, and Adrian loses way too much health.
Yeah, posturing aggressively there against the Malzahar. Lemon comes in. He uses the exhaust to slow down his opponent, as well as for that shred. And is going to be able to get a lot of Voidling damage. It was very smart of Adrian, though, to step into that Jhin W, because if that had hit arrow, he was already tagged, would have been rooted up, and would have got destroyed by those.
Good little trade there after a bit of poke early on. Adrian again getting locked up by the early snare. Altec looking for that last crit bullet. Wants to poke it onto arrow. Will find it for an easy 100 damage. Lemonnation also taking flak, so a lot of early level 1 aggression by both of these lanes once again. And we'll see who wins the race to level 2. P1 winning the push wall right now.
They certainly are, and you would expect them to. Varus and the Zyra both have very good push. You generally don't want to commit your Voidlings to the minions. You kind of want to save them to do damage, and FlyQuest is going to have to back off as their opponents get that level 2 first.
Altec just in range for that last melee creep, though. We'll hit level 2 for himself.
So Lemon going to need another creep.
Feels bad. Inori maybe looking for something. Looks like in Moon's Raptor camp. Moon's actually there right now. Altec going to step forward once more. You can see Moon taking a decent amount of damage, but pulls the camp away as Inori's actually looking mid here. Hai pretty far back though, and Inori looks at it, doesn't bother.
Yeah, and Moon had a good defensive ward there, so that is actually a pretty big deal. Warding that out means that Inori does not get the jungle camp, does not get a gank off, and is actually probably going to lose a camp of his own as a result, because Nidalee can just run straight to his opponent's Raptors now and take those away, knowing that Inori was on the bot side of the map. So this is good stuff from FlyQuest, early warding nets Moon a little bit of an advantage.
This has always been Nidalee's thing, just fly through the jungle, and to take as many camps as you can. In fact, gonna tap the Scry's Bloom here as well. No, gives it up for now.
He's gonna take another
the
camp.
Blast Cone, and yeah, gonna try for this Krug camp. And Nori's on that side of the jungle now, but another good ward's gonna spot him out.
And this is actually pretty big, because they could try to make the collapse on him. Moon, I think, smells something is up, just takes the little one. So it gets a little bit of golden experience there. Pretty nicely done for him. We'll see if Ball doesn't get caught out.
Arrow getting aggressed on now, going to be chased down by Malzahar Voidlings. And again, FlyQuest continually winning trades here, just given that they're able to land snares. I mean, Jhin and Malzahar are such a powerful lane for lockdown.
One thing to really track, though, 3 potions for Arrow, 0 for Altec. That is what you have to really look at. So although it looks like, oh yeah, those trades are going pretty good, they're pretty healthy, oh, Altec has more HP. There's actually like 400 extra health, you know, with the extra HP he has, plus all of those potions still available. So definitely a big deal there.
Ball's TP is top though. There's a Dark Seal to go along with that Doran's Ring. I like it. And Ryu going to get jumped on by Hai. That's good early damage from the jayce, and looks like Hai's going to push that in and maybe look for quick recall here, perhaps as a tier he wants to build up. But Ryu holding his own. CS is nice and even and lost a bit of health during the trade, but not too problematic for himself as Hai gets a bit of extra poke done there as well.
Yeah, not too bad. The Dark Seal is pretty strange to me, actually. Generally, it's paired with a Corrupting Potion for the extra healing from that. It's not really about the stacks on someone like Maokai. But since he does not have that, I feel like it's not super great.
Ooh, Ryu going in. Hai going to acceleration get out. Good exhaust from Ryu, but the flash from Hai is going to keep him safe. Spiderling going to chase him down. Oh, that's rude. Chased him all the way around the curvature of the turret. But Hai drinks his potion. Should be safe for now. And Inori is just going to pop in, have a visit to get a summoner there, so it might look for a revisit in the next minute or so.
And that's really what it's about, right? The first gank there was not going to work too often unless Hai just simply doesn't respect it and does not blow his flash. But you can look within the next couple minutes to come back and try to get that kill and try to start kind of getting something out of the investment in time.
Balls is doing work here in the top lane, though. Zig at the wrong end of that trade. He's actually 10 CS ahead. You know, tank matchup.
Zig also hasn't even based, so that is part of the problem here, is if you kind of get caught in an awkward lane position, Maokai outpushes Shen so drastically in the early game. You spam out your saplings, you spam out your Q, you have tons of AoE, then you're like, okay, I just gotta push out this wave before he comes back, but he's already there in lane, shoving you in again. So now that Zig has the cowl, he should be a little bit more tanky there and should be able to kind of hold and contest the wave a bit better.
You can kind of see the plan in bottom lane. Is you're right. I mean, Potion's out now for FlyQuest duo, but Lemonnation is just using his health as a resource, walking at Adrian and forcing as much damage as possible. And that's actually giving them enough of a push advantage for right now in the lane that they've been nice and aggressive. Sure, the CS is even, but FlyQuest once again playing what looks to be a pretty tricky lane, although it's a little better than last time, and doing quite nicely with it. As Moon's going to try and take this away. Good smite from Inori. A little early from Moon. Might get himself caught. Going to force a flash. Stun's going to land, but Moon gets out safely.
So flash down for jungle and mid now for FlyQuest, and I do think they have played that bot lane well from FlyQuest side, you know, to not really kind of get behind or anything like that. That said, a lot of it is on Arrow to continuously hit those Qs. If you're able to get the poke onto Altec, then you can start to really eke out those advantages that you've earned for yourself with those extra potions.
Melee form damage from Hai, drinks a charge of the refillable potion. You can see the early serrated Dirk really putting in damage onto Ryu. He's got a fade, so he's a little healthier when he builds up towards that Trinity Force, but he's going to get a blue buff for himself. I mean, a little low. Gonna want Hai to take it quicker rather than slowly, but oh, loses a bit of vision. I get the last auto in, and Moon's going to back away to base. Hai now with the blue should look to kind of continue finding an advantage in the lane. We'll see if he can build up a tangible CS lead as well.
Ryu should be back with plenty of time. He backed on the cannon wave, which means it takes longer to push out, so you can actually get there in time to be able to collect all that CS. So it should stay pretty even here. Lemonnation not 6, so this is not as scary as it otherwise would be. Once Malzahar hits the 6, you really have to respect any time he's missing, because that lockdown lasts so long that with any assisted damage, you pretty much always get a kill.
Yep, especially with Jhin able to snare you up. Altec's actually level 6 as well, so could even add to a potential play or just some poke damage. Arrow starting to get some damage done, but again, needs to build up an early lethality, although it does have a tier and a serrated Dirk, so things looking good there.
Wow, look at that first buy for Moon. That is not something you see every day. Merc Treads and a Hunter's Potion. This is as defensive as you could possibly be. And it may honestly just be a nod to, oh god, I just absolutely had to blow my flash. You know, I'm kind of in a risky spot. And there's a lot of CC on this team. You know, Root from Adrian. There's Roots from Arrow. You have the Cocoon. You have the Taunt. So, you know, he knows he needs to be slippery and not just get locked down and killed. So he's going a very defensive route. His dueling power is going to be pretty low because of that. But he should be able to kind of just run around the map and power farm.
Yeah, I think that's what the build indicates to me, is that he is just looking to, check these lanes, get an advantage, and build up a CS leaders. Steal attempt there from high. Doesn't quite hit it on the blue buff, but I like the attempt as Balls and Zig still doing battle. Spectre's Cal helping out Zig a whole lot more in the matchup, but Balls is continuing to shove it in, get damage done, and trade well with Zig here. I mean, no one's probably going to die in a tank v tank 1v1, but Balls, he's pushing up, he still has a CS lead. Things are looking just fine here for the Maokai.
And lane advantage, especially in professional play, is so big. It gives your Nidalee the freedom to invade more aggressively because you're the first one to be able to respond, right? So Maokai must do this. He must push in his opponent. It also gets a little bit of chip damage in on the turrets from the range minions and so on and so forth. So it is an edge, although it's not a massive one.
Nope. Certainly building up advantages is nice, as you can see all the attention FlyQuest have on that top side with 3 control wards in the river. Bottom side seems to be where the P1 attention is going now, though, as Inori is going to fly by that first control ward. Ryu with the package, maybe ready to make a play. No one in range just yet. High is returning to lane. Moon's doing the same, and Inori be able to spot that second controller. Ooh, doesn't check the brush. Scarlet Crab, though, is secured for himself, so a bit of vision on that side is nice for Phoenix1.
I'm not sure if the Scuttle walking through there after you kill it actually sees it, because they did ping out on that bush as he walked away. So I'm not sure if that was just a, hey, there might be a ward here, or if they actually spot it. Not really sure how that interaction works. Either way, Altec with the Swifty Boots is going to be a relatively kind of defensive build here too. That's something where he wants to be able to avoid skill shots, avoid taking that damage, kind of have a bit of additional mobility, but his actual combat power is going to be lower, and this means that Arrow, even with his tier, is not behind that.
Taking damage, good flash again as Ryu burns the exhaust up to the package. Lemonnation going to get locked up. Ulti's on the Arrow. There's the follow-in, but Stench United could save him. Moon is here as well, though. Who's going to get first blood? It will be Moon. High now in trouble. Going to get blown up on the other side. Ryu's going to get that kill, but Fly still going. Balls TP's in and locks up Zig. He got himself in with the ulti. Early going to try and save his AD carry. That's not enough as Balls gets the next one onto Zig, and now Balls needs to look for another route.
Nice
good stun there onto Inori. Spear lands, and that's going to be a kill. Altec collects the next one, and FlyQuest again up 3-1, nice and early.
That's the exact same thing. Run it back from last game. High goes down, the rest of the team able to pick up those kills. High does not get the first blood advantage or anything there. But still, first blood now to Nidalee, gonna really power him forward in this game. And FlyQuest off to a good start here once more.
You can just see how crisp their collapses are as a team. Instantly, Zig goes in, Balls TP's in to try and start the fight. The rest of the team comes in and collapses, and that's the kind of cohesion we've seen from FlyQuest week in, week out. And it's kind of showing why, you know what, individually may not look as talented, but teamwork goes is top tier, maybe even the best of the top 4 teams. I guess we'll have to find out as the season continues.
Has looked fantastic, and did get confirmation he actually was able to see the ward as the Scuttle dies and runs through that, so that's pretty cool.
Surveillance crab.
And this is kind of a risky engage. I mean, yeah, great. You got your ultimate onto Lemonnation, but you're right beside him. He just pops his ultimate right back over onto Arrow. So an ill-advised engage onto a level 6 Malzahar there. Takes so long for Zyra's ult to actually stop that, and the whole team's able to pile in. Once the tank is down, Balls is still at full HP. No business for P1 being there anymore.
Oh, High. Huge damage onto Inori. Rest of the squad's here. Gonna get snared up, and Inori is gonna go down. Moon gets the next kill, chases for another. Ryu forced to Valk back towards his turret.
And Inori just kind of not respecting the power of that jayce, and FlyQuest moves up there as a 3-man squad, controlling the vision, takes down an easy kill, and Moon is off the races again.
Adrian, yeah, he knows he might get chased, but Moon, I think, respects some potential crowd control. Not going to go in for it. FlyQuest starting to clear this vision out, though, and maybe even look to take this Mountain Drake. It's funny that we talked about it last game when the Ocean Drakes were very telling about the kind of compositions that were being played. It feels like, again, for FlyQuest especially, I mean, both these teams would love a Drake to help out their sieging because they both got plenty of marksmen.
Yeah, Ocean would be massive for either team in this one, again. Nidalee and jayce especially would love that, as would the Corki and Varus. But it is helpful for everyone. And Ocean, in my opinion, as a first Drake, is the most powerful minion. It's very, very strong. If you can get it early, help out your lane, makes it so your jungler essentially never has to base because you have that regen, and it's never actually knocked off unless you get hit by enemy champions. So it's not knocked off in the jungle. This time it is a Mountain on the table, and both these teams will be wanting to do some sieging and perhaps some split pushing from FlyQuest, so it helps in all those regards.
Well, you can see High going to get himself the blue buff. Good delivery there from Moon. High also did take teleport this game, so got himself back to the lane after purchasing his first lethality item. Has that Edge of Night built up already, and Ryu, he's kind of moving in towards his first major item. Trinity Force is very expensive, but as far as overall CS goes, things have been looked just fine here. And again, it's a lot of that roaming and team play early on that's been more of the factor in mid lane rather than the individual laning.
Yeah, and I think the fact that Hai took TP and Ryu had to kind of go with that combat summoner is going to give FlyQuest a pretty nice edge as you go further into the game, because it means that Hai can more easily be split pushing, shoving in the side waves, and he can also be the guy to kind of answer Shen perhaps in the side waves. You know, if Balls uses his TP, you can then sound down Hai to try to answer that, because Shen has the global ultimate in addition to that TP.
Ow. Every bit of poke for Ryu. Can't catch a break. Edge of Night could actually signal a dive. That turret looking to get low. Might even fall. Moon's got the rep up. They're going to go for it. Ryu eats another spear, and that turret's going down. Ryu, he does save himself. Lemonnation was ready with the ulti as well.
First turret of the game goes over to FlyQuest just like that, and they are really starting to expand the gold lead. A lot of this is on Moon again. I mean, Moon is just having a great game. He's been everywhere. He's power farming. He's pressuring lanes and has been very quick to respond. And this guy has just been such a spark plug for FlyQuest. Has really looked good this season. He
has, and in tandem with Hai, who's also looked, I think, surprisingly good for a lot of players that maybe remember Hai from a few seasons ago. Ulti gonna get started. Inori, that's gross. He's gonna come down. Can he land anywhere safe? No, he can't. Moon kills him before the third bullet from Altec can snipe him. Ryu now looking for a potential play with his package, but he's gonna get collapsed on ASAP. Balls, he sees him. Good poke there again from Hai, and Flight might move in for the objective.
Yeah, I mean, it's 5-man bot. They're just gonna try to shove them off this turret. Now we'll be able to make the change to go right back to the Dragon, as the bot lane had backed off and there was nothing to get there. So it's going to be an easy Dragon for FlyQuest off of that kill.
Yep, Moon and Lemonnation will team up for that one. Zig is pushing in towards that top half, and Balls TP down again for that fight. So they'll need to move the top laner down. P1 will have an opening to use their globals from the top lane. But first Drake's going to go over. Fly keep getting picks, and we talk about jayce hasn't been as successful. He's set up to do really well in this game. You can kind of see why with how much poke and early damage he does.
And I also just think that the fact that he's in the mid lane instead of the top lane, you're not sacrificing that kind of super tank. You have the Maokai, you also have the jayce, you have this power in the early game, you have the poke, you have the turret taking ability, but you also still have the best of both worlds, really. And I think it's working out quite well. And look at that damage coming in. Spear hits, shock blast hits. And Inori is just having a really rough game, has not been able to get anything done whatsoever. And Elise is not exactly a hyper-scaling champion. You know, it's a lot about the early game and the early gank pressure that this champion can put out. So for him to fall this far behind is pretty brutal.
Yeah, Fly built themselves a nice little poke comp, and that should start to see some good results as we move in towards this mid-section of the game. 16.5 minutes in or so. Early items are starting to build up. Bottom lane still looking good for P1. Arrow up 20 CS is nice. Ball's still up ahead in CS despite pretty aggressive teleports from him as well. So impressive to see that again he's able to win that tank matchup, at least for now. Tiamat should help, but Moon's now looking for a gank, and this could be real problematic for Zig. He's pretty low on health already. Moon's going to line it up. Good little secure there. The spear's going to land, and Zig should just have nowhere else to go. He's got flash, but that's about it. And Moon's now on a rampage.
And look at the turret. The turret's super low. That's going to be another turret going down. Part of the advantage that Balls has gained from not to put this
Ryu, no, you can't go for this. Exhausted, he's got Inori behind him, but that's not enough to save him. In fact, Hai might fancy it. Altec looking for it, doesn't get it. Shock Blast's going to go wide, and Ryu went too aggressive there.
Yeah, he thought he would be able to smash that fight with
Ooh, Inori locked down. Altec going to try and finish it off. Repel, who can he find? Bullet's going to get blocked by Arrow, but he's going to eat the next two as a result. Now Hai still looking for that poke. Arrow low, flashes out of the way. Hai wants it, but Altec flashes in for the auto attack. Lockdown is Hai still fighting. A double kill for Altec as it just opens up. Ryu, he wants it, he's going to get it, but he gets himself killed. And now Adrian going to try and get out from Altec. W dodge. Altec's going to have to give that one up.
Oh, Ryu should not have gone in like that. Not worth the trade kill. Losing the Shen ultimate here too. And this game is just falling apart completely for P1. They are not looking like the same team we saw from last game.
No, we talked about mental energy. It could be coming into play here as P1 look very scattered here in the early stages of Game 2. A third turret's about to fall. This was kind of the advantage that P1 were building in the first game, but the difference is that FlyQuest are so far ahead in gold. After this tower falls, they'll be close to 6K ahead.
Yeah, and this early in the game, that is just devastating. The pressure is not going to stop coming from these guys, and here it is once more. Ryu had kind of fought up the flash in from Lemonnation onto Inori, getting a lot of early damage there. And Ryu is just zoned out. He can't really join the fight. So High is able to come down. Arrow gets locked up, flashes forward, and even with that nice root and all the CC, that Hex Trigger keeps High alive, and then Ryu goes in, but he's walking through the AD carry. I mean, just not really worth it.
No, not at all, I think, and not even a bounty on High, really, to take some extra gold. I think you can tell Ryu a little frustrated with how the lane's been going. Sure, he's got 2 kills, but he's been picked on. He's High's really throwing his weight around with jayce's early power, and not a good look for P1 early on. They're going to need to kind of show us what FlyQuest had in Game 1 and just show a little bit of grit, dig their heels in, because this game's going to be tough. FlyQuest are snowballing kind of pretty far out of control already, and with triple poke and 2 marksmen and a Mountain Drake. I mean, the next one's Cloud, so there's some reprieve there from that objective snowball, but outer turrets are down. FlyQuest own the whole map right now, and you can lose so much very quickly at this stage of the game with the type of comp FlyQuest has, and Lemmonnation's just going to line it up. Adrian's going to get himself locked down. Last ball's going to go in as Altec's unstoppable. Sure, the Nash goes down, but Ryu locked up by a snare from Jhin, and Moon going to look to keep chasing it down. Inori skitters away towards his turret, eats a spear. Tried to kind of outplay that one, and Moon just was in. Good snare, but Moon killed him instead. Buffers it through. Arrow able to get the shutdown.
Thought he was going to get out there for a second, too. And Moon just kind of styling on him at this point. 5-1-3. He is going off. And I mean, P1 has good poke. They have good wave clear. But one of the often overlooked strengths of the Nidalee is the fact that she can heal up your team from that poke, right? And you can sometimes do those kind of heal bot type builds with the Chalice. I'm not sure if Moon is going to want to go into that since he's so far ahead. He is building aggressively. But either way, it does really help. Ow, to deal with that.
Zig taking damage. High looking to dive in for it. Spirit's Refuge might protect him. Ball's still tanking. Stranglethorn's committed. Balls flashes out of the way, and High, he already took down the tier 2 in mid lane, so some of that jayce turret pressure is starting to come out here as well. And Ryu, he's going to make a play, but I think High's going to punish him for it. No, he's caught out. We're doing too many. Just going to try and kill Arrow. Looks for the trade, commits it, but P1 do get themselves the kill.
That was pretty silly from High and Balls, staying around with the package out on the map. You hear the siren. They were trying to poke and kind of move back a bit more slowly. Did not respect that, and High is going to lose his life. Balls is going to lose that flash. Will be P1 probably knocking down their first turret of the game here, but mid lane is getting shoved, and they may not even be able to do that.
Just don't feel safe enough. Can't see anyone else. Lemonnation is coming up towards the lane. He's going to be spotted by some wards from Phoenix1.
Really surprised that they're not even trying to get that first turret. I mean, they have another wave coming in. They are staying now, so I guess they just really want to make a pick. They're feeling desperate.
And that, I think, tells you a lot, you know, maybe thinking we're not going to get the turret, staying around hoping that someone else comes here to collect the wave, and wasting time, honestly. This play works if you have the right read and someone walks in, but FlyQuest's like, that turret's pretty healthy. We're happy to trade it if you guys really want it, so we'll just keep pushing.
Exactly. They're not even going for it, and now they finally come out. They could have already probably killed that turret and been somewhere else, but with Ryu revealing, FlyQuest can look to get something done. They could even go for the dragon here pretty easily.
Yeah, High's going up there as well. He's got teleport, so he can join his team. Does have the advantage there. Clears out the wave kind of nicely, but going to jump on it and able to take it down. Inori's there. The exhaust is committed, but High just backs off. If that was a bait for Inori, Ryu needed to be a little more patient, and Inori has been here for so long now.
Yeah, this really does kind of just seem very desperate. It may end up working eventually, but the dragon's going over. High is playing this pretty safe. I think he does kind of smell it out, but...
Yep, now knows he's got his team to run back to, though. FlyQuest are collapsing, and Inori could be in trouble! Oh my god, that was so much damage! Ryu caught by the bullet. Next bullet, crit! Doesn't land, but High is going to maybe finish it off. Lemmonnation's going to lock it down. There's the silence. That's an easy pickup for High. Oh, flash hold onto Arrow's going to follow through. Snare in there from the Jhin. Arrow just CC forever. There's a double kill for Jhin. That FlyQuest, stop bearing with 2 people.
This game is just an absolute smackdown. I mean, Inori spent, what, about 2 minutes waiting in that bush, only to come out and die instantly. P1 must contest this. It's too early to give up the Baron. They're too far behind. But there's only 2 guys here, and I just don't see it happening.
Adrian knocked up, almost eats a spear. That would have been death, and Zig is going to try, but they don't have a smite here. FlyQuest should do this smartly. They're going to lock up Adrian. His ball's just going for it. There's going to be the kill. FlyQuest turn it on for the kills. They force Zig out of the pit. They'll take the Baron with the smite from Moon, and P1 looking desperate and horrendously far behind.
I mean, 10,000 down at 23 minutes. Baron buff secured. these guys, I mean, this is getting to the stage where it's like it's almost unlosable. If FlyQuest at this point, they have to make so many blunders to actually lose this game. It's almost not even about P1 playing well anymore. And this, they were just so desperate for it. Waited so long, and Altec and Lemonnation were already here. Inori instantly goes down. That was 0-6 for him, and Ryu gonna fall eventually as well. And then Arrow kind of comes filing in. He's trying to help him out. He's gonna die too. It's just brutal. You can see that Balls was already TPing into the Baron pit. They already knew they could do this as soon as they saw that kill happening. They didn't even wait for it to get finalized.
And again, FlyQuest have just shown so much strength together in the moments like that where they're decisive. And we saw in game one where they were behind and still made so many right decisions to save the game for themselves and keep making the winning play. When they're ahead, it's just even easier as a team to keep holding onto that lead and shot call when your team's riding high. They've got massive momentum off of game one, huge momentum in game number two, and P1 are about to roll over and die, and FlyQuest are digging their feet straight into that grave.
I mean, they're so decisive. That's what's really impressive about these guys, is even when behind, they're making the plays to win the game. And when you can make those kind of plays from, 8K, 10K down, well, when you're 10K up, it looks pretty damn good. And FlyQuest are putting on a clip here. They're absolutely blasting P1. This is one of the most one-sided games I've seen this season for sure.
And FlyQuest, they're just really good at snowballing themselves ahead. Balls is not too worried. Does make sure to protect Altec though, who is sieging up the turret. Two different lanes getting pushed in for now. Could be working on a third, although P1 do have bottom wave minions working for them. Seems like Fly just want to do maximum damage with this Baron buff. Try and take down two different spots and break open some inhibitors.
FlyQuest is just, I mean, they're answering all questions. All critics are being answered right now as they are playing against a top team.
Arrow eats the last bullet of the Jhin ulti, and that turret's going to fall down. Balls still looking unkillable as Ryu's going to get taunted up. Gets himself out to safety, but almost dies. Stands United somewhat wasted in the start of that exchange.
Well, I mean, he had to. Ryu would have gone down, so, he must use it, but the base is cracked.
Yeah, the poke just keeps coming, and they're not going to stop. Moon looks for Adrian, doesn't find him with a spear. That would have likely been a kill. Mid inhibitor's going to fall down. They've got the waves in their favor as well. Going to have to back away, though. Health bar's not feeling a little too good. But P1 have so many problems to deal with right now, and Moon's going to keep on the map, take the blue buff away, just continue to add pain here for Phoenix1. And FlyQuest at this point, they probably have enough Baron left to just walk in and try and end the game.
Yeah, they certainly could. They'll probably try to knock down the bottom outer here. I think that's a safe play. Let the middle waves shove in with those super minions, collect more standing gold, and Moon is behind Zig here. Zig could get chased down. Moon does not know where the rest of the team is, so he doesn't really want to go for the play, but yeah, just gonna play it safe.
Baiting him out. Oh, high spotting Inori. Jayce damage. Inori looks for recall. Is shopping. Oh
my God!
3 shots to poor Elise.
He has a family. Oh man, 0 and 7 for Inori. That's that's something. And he's not having a good game.
He's building damage, which he wants to be a carry. That's his nature as a player, but High showing him this game who the real carry is. jayce paying off very nicely for FlyQuest. They're going to make the safe play and shove down this bottom side, but he's busy doing his own thing with his teleport. Not quite up, but I don't think he cares. This turret's going to fall if he's got alone time with it, and P1 just have no responses.
Yeah, I mean, you can engage, you can try to fight it out here as P1, but you are way too far behind. Your time in this game is pretty much done.
And Ryu also getting poked out. Altec continuing to fire good poke down. Fly takes the top inhib. Middle is broken. Bottom lane follows. FlyQuest just going to do it all. Keep it nice and academic. Last inhib's going to fall, and P1 running out of stuff to defend. Moon gets aggressed on by Zig, but Adrian's locked up. High just wants in the back. He's going to try and make the huge play as he gets exhausted. Arrow snipes him down, but High's going to live it out. Altec flashes forward, snipes Arrow in the backline. Balls forces them back to that fountain. Turrets are just going to melt, and FlyQuest take one of the most decisive games of this spring. Nexus falls, and FlyQuest win the 2-0.
FlyQuest just put C9 on notice. The game tomorrow just got that much more hype. These guys just blasted P1, and they are going to be looking to deal C9 their first loss tomorrow.
2 wins in 2 different ways, but FlyQuest looked just as good in each of them. Game 1 was a very tough one, and FlyQuest showed that, you know what, we can play from behind it and make the right play. And then it just felt like P1 were a little desperate, a little defeated. and just couldn't recover after that first one. A fresh team, they're going to need to continue to play together and build up that strength throughout the season, but the leadership on this team, the experience on their players, and just the attitude they have when it comes to any game. Like you said, make the winning play. They did that in both of these games in 2 different situations, and certainly the real deal.
They certainly did. They just looked so good here. I think that the mid jayce worked out very, very well for High. I like it a lot. I talked about it a couple times, but paired with the Maokai, it seems great. The bot lane duo showing up big time. Moon showing up big time. Really everyone for FlyQuest this game looked great. And that's what happens when the whole team looks good, the whole team smashing, you get a game like this. And they really just devastated P1. That's a tough loss to swallow, as they're dealt another loss here. And, you know, their place in the standings is not nearly as secure as it was not too long ago.
No, and again, like, we're starting to get everyone through the first phase of that round robin. Every team will start to play every team, and we keep throwing questions at FlyQuest, and they keep having answers. Can they beat top 4 teams? Okay, well, they have now. They picked off P1, sure. Tests are still to come in C9 and TSM, but like you said, C9 will be on notice. If they weren't taking the game seriously, and I'm sure they were moving into tomorrow, they have even more attention to pay now after that.
I mean, especially Game 2. Game 1 was incredible just because they were able to come back, but Game 2 looked like, holy crap, this is a good team. They got massive leads in all areas. They pushed the pace of the game. They closed it out very fast. There's almost nothing to pick apart about Game 2, right? Game 1, you can be like, oh, well, they shouldn't have got behind. But even once behind, they still battled back, and they were able to be resilient enough to win. So super impressive series here from FlyQuest, and a frustrating one from P1, especially when they were so far ahead in Game 1, couldn't close it out.
And I love from Fly in that second game is they just did it their own way. You know, a very strong poke comp, nearly out of the jungle, which not a lot of teams are playing. Jhin, jayce, not like kind of the Varus Corki you might expect. Building a comp that works for them, that they were very clearly very successful with, and they just have so many pages in the playbook. That's the only way I can put it.
And it's really cool to see, because it's like they obviously have their own way to play the game and their own way that they think about the game, whether it's the matchups or the best champions or pick priority. They have their own set of ideals or rules that they're going by. And more teams are kind of realizing, hey, this is actually working. You have to kind of take notice of FlyQuest, and will more teams start to emulate them? We see that of C9, we see that of TSM. Do more people start to try to pull out the FlyQuest playbook and see how it works for them?
Well, it's working pretty well for them so far, so maybe. But for more on that 2-0 Fly win, let's check in with Zyra and Fly's jungler.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Yes, I'm here with Moon from